yesterday, add a day 2. Leave this box blank, just like yesterday. We'll fill it in as we go. When we get to expressions with multiplication or division, we're going to do the same steps with one slight twist. Now, step number 1, we're going to read and annotate like we did box and circle yesterday. Then identify the variable. What don't you know in the problem? A variable is, Jameson, you had a really good statement. Could you read?
Mr. McAfee?
Go ahead.
Max Griesbach is leaving
Thank
for an appointment.
you. Max, thanks for reminding me to record too. It'll be posted by 4 o'clock. What was your definition, Jameson?
Variable. A letter to mark a missing number.
Great. A letter to mark or identify a missing number. You can put that right where variable is in the bubble. So we identified the variable, we wrote out what it is, then we're going to kind of pause and try to draw a picture if we can. When we're multiplying and dividing, it gets a little bit trickier to differentiate which one is which. Adding and subtracting like yesterday is slightly easier in my opinion. Step 4, then you're going to write the expression, then you check, does it make sense? Check by comparing your expression to the problem. Compare it, and if it makes sense, you're good to go. Example number 1, Colton, read it for me, please. Colton, example 1, Iana. Iana works. Pause, first step. You're gonna annotate. If you haven't already, circle. And box. What keyword do you notice in here? Aiden. An hour or per hour. If you see something's happening per hour or every hour or an hour, that probably means what operation? Daniel. It's probably multiplication because it's happening every hour. So you're making 1450 times the hours. It's probably multiplication. Let's just drop that down and we'll see if it makes sense. Multiplication equals an hour or per hour. Let's identify the variable. What don't I know? 2 things in this problem that I'm not sure of. Mason. I don't know the hours. So what variable would make sense for that one? Mason? Remember, you can make it any letter. Yeah, I'm probably going to go with H for hours. Number of hours worked. I could see W for like the hours worked as well. Number of hours worked. We also don't know something else. Justice, what's the last thing I don't know? Yeah, I don't know the total. So let's underline total. What variable do you want to use for that, Justice?
T.
And let's use a capital T. Total earned. If I were to have a problem that was a little bit trickier and it wasn't just per hour, the wording was slightly different, I could visualize this. And if I have 1450, let's draw a picture. And let's say this big check means 1450. And that's the first hour. And then she works another hour, it's 1450 again. Then she works another hour, it's 1450 again. Because I'm multiplying this 3 different times, I know this is probably going to be a multiplying problem. Because this is repeated 3 times, I'm multiplying. Let's write the expression. You're going to see multiplication look a little bit different when you have expressions and equations. They like to put the 1450 next to the variable per hour, and it's going to be the h. So 1450 times h, go ahead and write this and then we'll simplify it to what they'll usually write it as. 14 times h is almost always going to be written like this. 1450 h. If you have a number next to a variable, it automatically means multiplication. If you have a number next to a variable, that means multiply. Get used to seeing that. You will see it a ton the next 3 years when you're working with equations. If you have a number next to a variable, it means multiply. This means that. Same thing. And then you could have it equaling t. This would turn it into an equation, but that's okay. It equals the total earned. There's your answer. What does it mean when a number is next to a variable again? Silent hand. Mason. It's multiplying. Every time you see that, you think multiply. Example 2. Read it for me. Mason, question before we go on. Or do you want to read it? Question or read it? Go ahead. Denia brought. Love on saying scholars boxing, circling while we're reading that. I'm circling 12. I'm looking for some keywords. Jameson, did you find one? Distributing is a good word. That probably means multiply or divide. Chad. Between is also a good one. Between means she's doing it between those 12 friends. And I heard someone say, Jackson, what operation was it? It was probably division. And the key word that we clued us into it was distribute or between. Also evenly probably means she's dividing. Good. Variable is 2 things I don't know. Avery, what's one thing I don't know here? Yeah, what variable do you want for that? Sure, C is the number of cupcakes she starts with. What else don't I know? Kate. How many cupcakes? I guess this would be the red. Let her think. Let her think. You can raise your hand if you want to help out, and we'll give you 5 seconds. We don't know all the cupcakes that each friend gets. So this part is the cupcakes of each friend. We'll make that what variable? I don't want it to be the same. Jackson? A for what? Okay, the answer. You also said something over there. F for friend. Either will work. I'm going to go with the F because the F stands for friends, but A would work too. F is the number of cupcakes each friend gets. Here is your picture each friend gets. We already know it's division, but if I wasn't sure, I'm going to start with 12 cupcakes. Here's the total. No, I don't have 12 cupcakes. I have 12 friends. I'm going to start with the number of cupcakes, and I always divide the bigger part. Here's the number of cupcakes. We'll say it's a box with cupcakes in it. I'm not sure how many, and then we're going to split this up into 12 different sections. I'm dividing it up, or distributing it between evenly. That's my picture I'm thinking about. An expression could look like this. You're starting with the 12, and we're splitting that up. Nope, we're starting with the C, and we're splitting it up into 12 different sections. C divided by 12 equals the amount each friend gets. That's one way of writing it. In algebra, you will normally see division look like this. The C will be on top. There will be this division bar. And then the 12 is on the bottom. This means the same thing. C over 12 is usually how they'll write division when they're writing expressions. Tessa. It's the best habit to get into because it's algebraically it makes sense for it to match something about the variable. You'll see that that's usually what they'll do. You don't have to. I'm not going to mark you down if you don't. You could just choose X for everything and then like Y for something else. But in the end, I want you to kind of get in the habit of the C for cupcake. Last example. Next page. Lauren, Mr. MacD has.
Mr. Maxey has 120 ranchers to distribute evenly for all students on the wall of fame. Each student will get the same amount of ranchers. Write an expression to represent the amount of ranchers each student will get.
Distribute means division. Circle 100. Chad.
Evenly and each.
And each works too. Each student. Okay. Give me a variable, Jackson.
As for students.
And we don't know the number of students, so S is the number of students. I got 2 that are waiting, or 3. They're just in the box. I don't know something else. What's another thing I'm missing? Hadley. What am I asking to find? Do you agree, Raiden? You're gonna put that. What variable do you want to use, Raiden? Sure, R for ranchers. R is the number of ranchers each student gets. Yeah, I just call them ranchers because it's my shortcut. Each student gets. I want you to turn and talk and set up an expression for this one. Be careful. It's a little different than number 2. I don't care who starts this one. What would your expression look like? Turn and talk for 30 seconds. Go. Why did you put the 120 on the top and not the S? We lost that whole class. Go back. We're going to bring it back. But 3, 2, 1. I heard a few correct answers, but I'm guessing a few of us may have been swayed by example 2. Chad, can you give me your guys' expression you made? S divided by R? Okay. That's option A. Any other options? Tessa. Okay. If you vote for A, give me a 1. B, give me a 2. Show me. Hands down. For this one, if you are splitting up the ranchers this time, you're actually going to have the number on top. We're not splitting up students. That would be kind of mean. We're not going to like line them all up and then start splitting them up. And I don't know how you would do that, but the division does not happen with the student. We want to split up the ranchers. This is your expression. We defined that, or this is more an equation, but we could make an expression by just having that. That is all for that problem. Next problem is number 1 of partner practice. I'm going to set 5 minutes because I want 12 for independence. Work through number 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. If you finish those 5 problems or 4 problems, start independent.